Good day, good morning, and good evening, Commanders. Season 2 is here, and the old maps have been put back into the ranked map pool. As a result, your players are at a disadvantage when facing more experienced ones, so I've decided to deep dive each and every ranked map so that hopefully you can win lots in Season 2. This is part 2 of our two ways analysis. In the last video, we covered the better side. Now on to the worst one. In the last video, we talked about how red side here, this is the blue one, this is the red side. In the last video, we talked about how the red side is basically better, and we said that it's better because red gets this building block and gets into the corner of our zone and can tick it for the rest of the game. And yes, we do get into the left, kind of, but not really. In the last video, I said that, well, from here, that red gets more of their zone than we get of ours, basically. That's how it works. They will get the CV spot and will tick it for the rest of the game, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it unless we kick them all the way out. And us getting into alpha is extremely hard. This is a very long road, and you don't even get in completely. Like, you get into like max about like here or here. You'll get stopped basically. So taking alpha is really hard, whereas for the red side, taking golf is like really easy. All they need to do is sit there with a CV and they can win the game. So when I play this side, I'm always stacking either alpha or golf. Depending on how I'm feeling and depending on my enemy's division, it's either I'm going to complete, like my early game focus will be completely kicking my enemy out of golf and then pushing further to put pressure on the reinforcement roads. If you remember correctly from last video, we said how red side wants to pressure our road of life by playing on this in this part of the map, and by pushing it they put pressure on our road of life and road of supply, and basically we always spawn and use this road barely gets used. So if they do this, we're at a disadvantage. So the same way it works for our road of life, it works for theirs as well. So the idea early on is to push the enemy completely out of golf, and then keep going and circle back around and take the middle from there. That's the idea in most of my games. You can also keep going to Delta, of course, if you have the resources. But this is basically how you want your attack to look like. Completely kicking your enemy out of golf and then rotating to Charlie, pressuring their road of reinforcements, and going to Delta itself. That's what I do if I decide to stack this side. If I don't decide to stack this side, I'm usually putting like some M113s just to take it early. If I decide to stack alpha, this is my plan of attack. Most of the time, I'll just have some infantry like here or here, and then backed up by M113s that will justify the infantry pushing up. Again, like I say in all of my videos, you need something to justify something. In this case, the M113s with autocannons are gonna justify the infantry that are gonna push up. That's how it works, basically. Alright, so we're gonna, like I said, M113s or any fire support infantry, the infantry pushes up because this overlooks, and then I also love to attack on the right side of the town here. I love going down this road and then rotating around and completely ignoring the entire town fight, because there's no reason to fight 20 minutes for this town when you can just go around, secure the back, and then turn around and kill everything in the town. That's how it works, in my opinion. I also love to split off a bit into here and a bit into here, like this, and then I love to go around as well and go around this way. There's lots of place for sneaking on this map, so I definitely suggest you take that opportunity where they present themselves. If you're going up to here, like I said, you can go up to Delta, you can sneak into Delta, you can go to Charlie, Once you can go to here. Once you've reached this position, you can keep going, like to Bravo over here. You can just keep going, and when you reach Bravo, you can come back down here, or from here you can go back up to Bravo. Like there's a lot of places on this map that allow sneaking, and you should definitely use it. You should definitely go wherever you can and use that to your advantage. So we covered how to take Alpha, we covered how to take Golf. That's yeah, those are your ideas early game. So pick where you want to stack and go with it. So if, but most of the time I have to say I do pick Golf because I do feel more comfortable taking completely Golf and then going rotating to Charlie and playing for Delta and then obviously punishing my enemy more for that than I do in than attacking a zone that I have no guarantee I can take because realistically, if you stack Golf, you're not gonna fail. I mean, at least I'm not gonna fail taking Golf from my enemy because I have the advantage in Golf. If I will make it so that I will win every duel I take on Golf, and I will just take it back. Whereas my enemy has all the advantage in Alpha, and it's kind of hard to play. I mean, of course you can, but I'd prefer not. But what you still can do is you can deploy a bit further back, and then have some N113s or any auto cannons. Just go like this, and go to Bravo, and then come back down like this. And if you take a look how that looks for your enemy, if you're so this is the enemy's perspective. You've gone like this, and you've gone like this, like this, like this, and you've gone like this. How does this situation look for the enemy? This situation looks absolutely horrendous for the enemy. The enemy is like on the verge of either surrendering if he does not want to play it out or completely losing the entire middle because there's nothing you can do. So I would prefer if you would like time your sneaking with your assaults so that it works out a lot better than usually. All right. So the game plan for Charlie basically most of the time in my opinion is passive. Again, you're not gonna push this building block simply because, well, he's just gonna put some like ATGMs, and then the M113s that are covering your infantry are just gonna die. So realistically, there's nothing to justify that attack on the building block. So we can't attack it. So we'll play passive. We'll put some KCTs, and we'll have an M113, M113, and the rest of our play is on golf basically. Like I said, I'd put like a KCT here or KCT here and then back it up with like two M113s that are gonna go split like this, and I can kill anything that's coming down to push this. Or if they go into here, do not fret, we'll have a KCT here and we'll have two M113s going around like this. And now these M113s from here can support, and they can keep sneaking if need be, or they can reroute to the middle and support the push that you're gonna do later. That's how you want to play it. So, middle game. We've taken this. Well, actually, I expect of you to already be up here in the like first 5 minutes, but we can also work with 10 minutes. So let's say you got here and 10 minutes have passed. All right, what do we do next? So we obviously want to also go to the right side, like I said, the M113s. So I'd expect of you to also take this. So we've taken this. What next? Well, next, you force your enemy to become uncomfortable. You're gonna attack from here. If you take a look at your opponent's view, what would be the most uncomfortable thing we could do to them? Well, obviously put an ATGM here to cut off this road completely, and take this to cut off all of this and keep going up to here. So that's exactly what our next priorities are. Our next priorities are first to do this, and second to take this. So how you, I mean, if you're already up to here, you should just be able to push up. And if you have some recon to justify and tanks behind it, you'll be completely fine. Your next play is this, and you're gonna take it by just pushing up from both sides. Maybe you put an infantry unit here, depending on where the enemy tanks are, attack from the different sides. So if enemy tanks are here, get an infantry unit here and attack like this, so that the tanks cannot shoot you. If the tanks are here, get an infantry unit here and attack like this, if that makes sense. So depending on where the enemy tanks are, push up your infantry and take this. Once you take this, then you can play with your tanks or recon or whatever you have. Like if you put recon here as well, it'll be very nice. And then you can play with your tanks, start taking tank duels, start winning those tank duels, and you'll be just in a much better position, in my opinion. Once you've taken this and you have all of this, you have all of this. The next bit of play that you're gonna force, you also have this. The next bit of play you're also gonna force is this. So the idea is to get into the corner of this zone and start ticking, because this map is pretty easy to tick. If you take a look, there's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 3. That's like a lot of points. That's a lot of like points, which is unseen in the previous ranked map pool. And the previous ranked map pool is for season 1. Basically, all points were like 1 point, some were 2, but like never this many points were on the map. So you do have to be like careful, because this map ticks very fast, and I suggest you start with 2 CVs at least. Well, at least. Um, I sometimes on like the old maps I would ignore CVs because you can get away with not buying them, but on this map you definitely need to buy them, otherwise your opponent's gonna get like, depending on how many CVs they buy, they can get like a 500 to like 1000 point advantage simply because you wanted to ignore CVs. So you definitely need a CV. Alright, next up. Middle game into this. We wanted to take this with M113s. We've already wanted to secure all of this, so I expect that it is all secured. All you need to do now is just put an infantry unit here, push it up, and then justify it with tanks in the back line. Tanks here as well. You also can bring up mortars and start smoking like all of this off, and then you can put a CV here, and then you can start ticking, you know? Then you're gonna live the life. And while you're taking this, your opponent's spending lots and lots of resources trying to kick you out of this zone. And that's fine. If you want, you can let them kick you out. If you decide you can't keep it, there's too much pressure, let them kick you out. While they're spending lots and lots of resources on Delta, we are gonna pick up all of our, well, not gonna all of our forces. I don't know, pick them up, but like we're gonna rotate all of our forces into an attack on Charlie. We're gonna time it with the sneaker that we had back here, and we're gonna time it with the M113s that we placed here early in, if you recall. The KCT can push up, the M113s can push up, this guy can push up, and these guys can push up. And this guy is your like flank guard if you think about it, because like if the enemy sees you pushing up to here, he's gonna come and try and stop you. This guy is your flank guard. You have an ATGM that's covering that entire road. It's gonna kill this, and then he cannot attack you. So time your assault. KCT's pushing up, M113's justifying, M113 in the back line, Leo's infantry pushing up, tanks behind it, pushing up. And how does this look for the enemy? The enemy in this situation is literally bound to just this spot, which is like really uncomfortable to play. Like, who enjoys being completely encircled and attacked from all sides? I'm not, I'm gonna tell you, no one does. So, you're gonna kick them out of Charlie if you manage to get this kind of position. And then all you need to do is just secure the rest of the front, secure, and you always have the threat of getting back up into here if you let them take it from you. That's basically how you want to play the middle and late game. It's literally about outmaneuvering your opponent and feinting an attack on Delta if you don't like you don't have to feint. You can also completely just attack Delta and take Delta for yourself. Completely ignore Charlie. Like you can let your opponent stack Charlie. They're not gonna be able to do anything. Like it's too open. And if you make them focus on you, then they'll start reacting to your push, right? They'll start reacting, and you can just, instead of like, oh, I'm gonna go here, nope, I'm gonna go this way, and then you take Charlie. The enemy sees you coming down to Delta and is like, oh shit, I have to prepare defenses for Delta. All right, I've prepared defenses. You're like, oh, I'm going to Delta, I'm going to Delta. Nope, I'm going to Charlie. And then I'm going to Bravo, and then I'll go to Alpha, and I'm going to take Alpha from you. Or you don't even have to overextend this much, but taking Charlie is realistically enough. Like, you don't need more. And let me be real with you. Once you've taken these positions, there's nothing stopping you from taking Delta infinitely. Like, because like your enemy doesn't get any cover. Like, see, all of this is just open space, and all of this as well, and all of this as well. Your enemy doesn't get any cover to kill the CV. Even this building doesn't even overlook the CV spot. There is like no physical way your enemy can even like damage your CV unless they push up like a tank here and shoot you, or infantry here and shoot you. But how are you allowing a tank to be here? Like, you have an ATGM here, this tank is never gonna reach that. And if you stack tanks here and you stack tanks like here, autocannons, infantry that's gonna push up here to kill you is never gonna reach. So taking Delta is extremely easy once you've taken like this. Once you've taken this, getting into Delta is just a formality. Like, you're gonna put a CV here, and there's nothing he can do. You're just gonna farm him basically. And once you've taken this, like I said in a previous video of mine, I said that defensive positions in Warno are like dominoes. Once one falls, the others will follow suit. Once we've taken all of this, Charlie is just doomed to fall, because there's no physical way you're holding Charlie with like a massive problem in Delta. You're just gonna rotate all your units, you're gonna take Charlie, and then you're just gonna sit there for the rest of the game and win. And there's nothing your opponent can do. That's how you want to play this map. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, check out the first part of my 2A's analysis. It will teach you how to use the better side to win your games. Until next time, Commander.